There are two kinds of people in this world. Either you're doing things you know you shouldn't, or you're not doing things you know you should. Guess what? We're both. Hi, I'm Marcy Barker, life and business coach, aka your loving kick in the pants. This podcast is here to help you become accountable with aligned action and become boss-minded while growing a business without sacrificing what matters most. Let's dive in. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. It's been a while since I had a guest on, and I could not think of a better one. When I was talking to my podcast producer and my new social media coach, she's like, can you talk to somebody who's like one of your biggest successes recently? And I was like, I know exactly who to talk to, which is Jenika Fiso. And today, everybody, we're going to talk about the possibilities that can happen with a little bit of desire and a little teeny investment of $27. So we're going to dive right in. But first, I'm going to brag about you, Jenika, because Jenika knows me. I give really long answers. I talk a lot, but I'm not going to apologize for it. So Jenika and I have been working together for a really long time. I actually just kicked her out of the nest because we're not working together anymore, but she knows what she's doing now. And it's been such a beautiful journey from start to finish. I mean, it's not even finished. It's like from start to right now. But it's been not even a year since you and I started talking in the good old social media way of Facebook. And we have not even met in person yet, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because
we haven't.
We've talked so much. But okay, so Jenika is virtual assistant / online business manager. She's the tech queen. She's working behind the scenes with member pages and new stuff that's coming out. But what I wanted to do with Jenika today is inspire all of you guys who want a loving kick in the pants. Jenika has taken the loving kick in the pants and she's received it and she's run with it, and anybody can do it, right, Jenika?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'm probably just going to like fire questions at you and dig a little bit deeper so that listeners don't feel alone in taking on big goals this upcoming year.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, so a little bit about me is I'm very ambitious and I'm a little impulsive. I can't lie. And a story I love to share about myself and who I am is when I was in 6th grade, I did an entrepreneur after school club, and I had a business and I would crochet bracelets and I would sell them. And I did sell a few. I couldn't tell you how many, but like I remembered it's like, okay, I'm going to sell it for this much because, da 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 da. I think I sold them for like 25 cents. Anyway, yeah, that was my business when I was in 6th grade. And I have a college certificate in entrepreneurship and also administrative assistance. And I started at this job 5 years ago. And, I didn't really have any reason to do that job specifically other than I had just gotten married and I just needed a job, and my sister was working for that company and she's like, come work with me. And so I did. And I interviewed at the corporate office, had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I was like, I just need a job. Just pay me more than what I'm being paid now. And it happened. And so I've been there for 5 years now, and my growth with them has been amazing. They've been really supportive of my professional growth, my business, and I've had 2 kids since working with them. And so I feel like I've just been a whole different person. They've really been a catalyst for me in a lot of opportunities in my life, which I'm been really, really grateful for. I don't think I would be where I am now without them, truly.
Yeah.
So big gratitude goes out to them. And I've always been the kind of person that's like, okay, I want to start my business. And when I changed positions, so I started at the job I work at now, I started as the front desk receptionist. And then I had my first baby. And then after coming back from that, I started in a different position, and we call it operations specialist. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's basically just back in everything. And so I've been doing that for 3 years. When I started doing that, I was working with a new supervisor, and I was like, I want to do business. And at the time it was in a different area. And I was like, and so I want to do this business. And when it gets big enough, I'm going to quit. And she's like, great, that's fine with me. And she was very supportive of that idea. And then I tried it for a while, and it just didn't work out the way I was hoping. So that kind of fell off.
Yeah. Tell
Which
me,
is fine.
tell me about the point that you got into the Boss Minded Facebook group.
So in that first like venture that I tried to work on, I was introduced to one of your neighbors, Tanya, and
Oh,
yeah, she was a client of mine at the time, and I was working with her. And she and I were talking about our goals and what we were wanting to do, and so she introduced me to your Facebook group. She's like, yeah, yeah, like I'll invite you. So she invited me to the Facebook group, and then that's how we got introduced.
mm.
And I I tried posting a few things, but it kept kind of going like against the rules, so it kept getting taken down.
You are not alone.
And so I'm like, what the heck? And so anyway, and then I took my focus off of that and was focusing on other things. And so I stopped participating in the group, mostly just my focus was elsewhere. And then the beginning of 2025 this year, or the end of last year as well, end of 2024, I was thinking about a business again and doing my own thing again. And the beginning of 2025, I was thinking, I was like, I could, like, what I'm doing now for work, I could really just do that on my own. And I could really, like, focus on the things I love to do. Because there's lots of aspects to my job that I like, but there's also a handful of things I don't like to do. And if I do my own business, I can do, like, I'm really confident in the skills that I've learned over the years with them.
Yeah.
I'm really good at what I do. I could do this on my own. And so that's when I started thinking about doing like online virtual assistants, online
Yeah.
business manager things. And that was around the same time that you started marketing for, at the time it was called Community to Cash.
Yeah.
So
Tell me
yeah, and then
this.
I got interested in that.
When you saw a challenger program about making money in 5 days and marketing, and you already had this idea of like, one day I'm going to start a business and I'll figure that out. What was it about the challenge that you're like, I'm going to try this thing?
I liked the idea of, having something to help me to get confidence. And I really liked that part of what you said was just buy it and then you can have it forever.
Mm.
And so my mind was, okay, I can buy it now while it's at a good deal, but if I'm not ready to do it now, I can just have it for later.
Yeah.
Um, if so, I had ideas brewing in my mind. Like, this would be a great resource to utilize social media to learn how to use it in a really effective way. So I bought it, and then I was just going to sit on it because I
Yeah.
didn't have a business. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a business plan. Like, I didn't have anything.
And then tell everybody what happened.
And then you messaged me, I think like the week before, like it was gonna launch.
Yeah.
And I think at that time I had already bought it or something like that. And you had asked me if I was gonna do it, and I was like, well, maybe, like, should I do it? Like, I don't have anything. And you're like, yeah, just still do it. And so I'm like, okay. And I did it, and I kind of just made during the week as it went. And
Yeah.
like for each of the challenges, there was a challenge to have like that you could use like a lead magnet or a freebie. And I was like, I don't have that. And so I kind of made one up. And then at the end where it was make a post about like a low dollar offer. And I was like, I don't have that either. But I kind of made one up. So yeah, it was
What was the gap that was filled when you're like, I have a job, but I know I'm going to quit one day and be my own business owner? And then going into a very simple challenge where like, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. What went through your mind there? Like, were you like, oh crap, I'm not ready to start a business? Or were you like, this is the thing that's finally going to help me?
thinking back to it, I I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm really confident in what I do. Like, I know I can come up with things that would make sense for this challenge. And I think the thing where the gap was when people started interacting with my posts and commenting. And I'm like, they're like, oh, what do you do? Like, what even is a virtual assistant? Like, or they would say things like, I don't even know what to delegate. Or
Mm.
it's like, and so they were like, some of the comments were like, oh, I need to think more about this because some people aren't in a place where they can even think about what to delegate, or they're not big enough yet that it makes sense, or something like that. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I could do XYZ, but then in reality, it's like that's not what they really need. And so I kind of had to explore more and kind of learn what I needed to learn what a target audience for me was, like what that looked like. And then within that, what they needed and how I could help them.
It's like, how do you now sell something different than you initially thought you were going to sell?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the making money in 5 days or less, in the challenge, I remember you made your cash post and I was like, I want this. And then I messaged you and I was like, how do I get this? And then you're like, what did you say? You're like, can you pay me on PayPal or what? Like,
yeah,
it was very much
I contemplated putting it on my Etsy shop so that I could just have Etsy like do the thing for me, but then I didn't. But yeah, I was like, can you do like a Venmo or Etsy, or not Etsy,
PayPal.
Venmo or PayPal, and then I'll email it to you.
Yeah. And I was like, girl, why is this not automated at all? And I was really surprised because when we started messaging back and forth, I was recognizing that you were somebody who was perfect for my next program. And not because you were an established business owner, but you were willing to figure out the challenges. And you had all of us entrepreneurs just have this delusion of like, we'll figure it out. It'll work. When you're like, no, I don't have an offer. I don't know who I'm selling to. I don't even have a website. And then I think I found out at some point that you didn't even have a business set up. And I was like, what? I was like, yes, we got to get that done.
Yeah.
Go do it online. You got to set up a business bank account. We got to get Stripe. So how did learning those things, like setting up a business, getting a website, lead magnet, how did those things help you understand marketing better?
Something that helped me to understand marketing better.
Well,
I actually think that the making money in 5 days challenge, I think that helped me to understand marketing way better than like individual aspects of it. I think just like the idea of putting ideas together in a sequence that all connect to each other like makes more sense. I'm like, yeah, you can have like freebies and lead magnets, but they're just individual documents. But putting it together in a sequence like that, like the 5 day challenge, made it make way more sense for me.
Yeah. One thing that you said too that's interesting is you noticed there were gaps when people started interacting with your posts. And I think that is so relatable for a lot of women who want to sell something. They have something that will sell, but then they get stuck on making posts about it because they don't know how to describe it. And then they stop making posts because they don't know how to deal with the traffic that comes into it, or they don't know how to answer the questions of what is it called? How do I get it? How much is it? Do you have an info page? Like all of these things stop us from doing the marketing. But in reality, it's like if your marketing is not making you money within 5 days, something is wrong. There's something wrong with your offer, your automation, your confidence in your own business, who you're serving, your ideal client. Like there's so much that goes into it. So after you signed up for the challenge and you did it, and you thought you were just going to like sit on it till you were ready, in the challenge, there are different bonuses that came along with it. Like you get these bonuses just for signing up, but then there's bonuses for completing the challenge, and then there's bonuses for taking fast action. So how did that impact what you did when you learned about that? Like, did it light a fire under you, or how did that make you feel?
Yeah, I like getting free things. And so I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, then I'm just gonna do it all in the 5 days and just get everything I can possibly get and make it easy on myself.
Yeah. Was $27 a big deal for you?
Not really.
That's good. What about the next investment that you made?
It was a bigger deal for sure. But you had mentioned like the custom fit program, which made it more helpful and accessible for me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that it was a bigger deal, but I had confidence in you that you would help me and confidence in my business that's like, yeah, I just need to kind of get on the right track,
Yeah.
and then I'll kind of just take off from there. a little bit of blind faith, I guess you could say, where it's like I didn't really have a business plan. I didn't have anything. I just had an idea that I was confident in, and I just wanted to try it.
Yeah, I think that's the delusion that the entrepreneur mind has of like, we'll figure it out. But what would you say to somebody who is in your position or was in your position of like, can I spend a couple grand on this thing without having a business plan? Like, what would you say to your past self if you were going to convince yourself or give yourself an increased bit of confidence or faith that it will work out? Because listeners, Jenika's on the path to quitting her job. She has the date set. Her boss knows exactly what day she's going to quit her job. And you knew that a long time ago that you wanted to do it, but now it's like real. And
Yeah.
I asked you a question. What was it? What would you say to somebody who might be in the shoes of where you were 6, 7, 8 months ago?
Just go for it. Like if you're confident in your idea and you love the idea and it lights you up and it fills you with passion to do it, then to take the risk and to do it. And I know spending a lot of money, depending on the situation, can be really difficult. Like I grew up in a family where we didn't have a lot of money. And so I mean, in my earlier adult years, I'm still not that, I'm still young, but in my earlier adult years, when I was like, in like brand new in my 20s and things like that, we were trying to be really frugal. And I went through a neural wellness program that really helped open up my mind to different belief systems. And I worked on the money systems in my mind and how I perceived money. And if you had asked me a couple years ago to spend that, I probably wouldn't have. And I think me working on myself in that way and changing my perceptions about money
Yeah.
put me in a better spot for when the opportunity came up. I was more willing to consider it.
Mm-hmm. What are some marketing things that you learned that helped you sell or convert people? What's something that you learned that maybe you didn't know before until you're like, holy crap, this actually is the way to do it?
Making human connections and focusing on making human connections first. I think it's really easy, especially if you don't have a lot of information or a lot of background in marketing, where you're just kind of learning from being marketed to yourself. It's like
Yeah.
other people are marketing to me, so maybe this is how you are supposed to market. And so you kind of just guess or take guesses, and you don't really know the philosophy or the psychology behind what they're doing. And so you just come off as really salesy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really annoying to yourself
Yeah.
and to the people you're trying to market to. So I think making those human connections first and just focusing on building relationships.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing I learned.
Hey, my beautiful people. If you're loving these episodes, you'll want the full experience. I've bundled both of my books, The Accountability Code and Becoming Boss Minded, into one powerful package. You'll get instant access to the audiobooks and ebooks so you can learn and grow anytime, anywhere. Head to bossminded.com and grab the book bundle now. It's the perfect way to stay inspired between episodes. All right, let's dive back in. Yeah, I think you showed that well too, because you and I are different in the fact of like, I will talk somebody's ear off, and I have no problem with that. I will talk their ear off and brag about me and my results. And you were not like that at first, just because you didn't have all the information of what you're providing and what you're presenting and what you could offer somebody. So without turning into me or being super extroverted or things like that, how have you taken your natural strengths and been able to sell your services?
I believe one of my natural strengths is I just like to be thorough and be detail oriented and just get it done. And so I feel like that pairs really well with what I want to do with my business. And one of my clients right now, I met her through your course, actually. And one of the things she said to me was at the very beginning when we're all trying to get set up, and I barely even knew her. Like I just saw her name in the group chat and that's all I knew about her. And she was struggling in like getting the Google Calendar set up on her phone. And I just like sent a message like, let me know, I can help you. Just let me know. And I had no intention of like working with her. I was just like, just one of those people who just like to help. And because I am, like you said, like tech savvy, tech oriented, it's like I could figure this out. And I actually figured it out for myself. And I was like, hey, I figured it out for me. Like, let me know if you need me to help. And she said that was one of the things that kind of stuck out to her about me, because I was just being myself, being genuine and wanting to help her for nothing in return. And that led to a big relationship and her ultimately hiring me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that. I think a lot of people forget how crucial that piece is in marketing. And in the challenge, when we talk about marketing, there's a definite component of like, you need to have this in here. Because if you are missing the human connection or the reasons why two people are brought together, then it's like marketing does not work at all. So, in your example of that client that you're working with, what was the piece that made her convert to you? Like, did you offer her? Did you put something in front of her? Did you say, here's what I can do for you? Here are my prices? Or was she just like, here's money, help me?
Yeah, it was more of the I need help and I trust that you can give me the help I need and I'm willing to pay you for it. And the first thing that she and I worked together on is the Making Money in 5 Days challenge, where she hadn't done it before, but she was interested in trying it. However, she didn't really have the mental capacity to think about writing posts, drafting them, coming up like brainstorming, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so she bought the challenge and I helped her. I kind of did all the brainstorming. I put together drafts, several drafts for each different day. And then she went in, she picked the draft that she liked the most, and then she changed it, changed some of the wordings. Like I kind of just gave her the structure and she finalized everything to make it fit her language and her style. And then she posted it. And so I took a lot of that initial work out, but she was still able to produce something that was hers.
Yeah, I like that. I like that what I taught you is the same thing that's helping you help your clients too. I think that that is what most people get confused about marketing, is that it has to be like cut and dry. Here's all the things you need to do. But if you learn a few components of what it takes, like to be organized and how to approach people and how to serve people, then a lot of it's going to come together. With your marketing efforts, I know that we've also talked about like raising your prices. And how has that been? Have you raised prices since we've talked last, or?
Yeah, we have. Okay, so my first two clients, I signed them on at $37 an hour. And I talked to them individually, and they both individually agreed to this. But at the beginning of the year, in January 2025, I'm going to raise it to $40 an hour. And then on my website, I put it at 45. So any like new clients that I'm onboarding will be starting at 45.
Yeah, still way too low. Right?
I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day because he's also kind of in that, like, I want to start a business kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like telling him, like, I don't think I'm quite there yet mentally. I think because going back to like my money perception,
Mm-hmm.
I think I still have things I need to work through to feel confident about that in myself.
Yeah. I think if you raise them on your website, that'll help you work through that faster. Okay, what would you say to somebody? Let's do this. What would you say to somebody who's dealing with that right now? Who you're like, I've seen the back end of your business and how you are, and you're not charging enough. What would you tell your own client if they were dealing with that?
I would say charge what you want to charge, and then the people who want to work with you will still find you and pay you that.
That's on record. You just said that. I'm going to play it back to you over and over. Send it to you. But I think that it's not far in the future for you to go way higher, because you have these marketing skills. Here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. Here's your loving kick in the pants. You need to reapply the Making Money in 5 Days to a new platform, a new place where those people are hanging out, because it worked. It works every time that you do it. And so I think if you apply it to a new place, you're going to find maybe new needs that you didn't know about. or you're going to find new struggles that you can fulfill for those people who are making more money or have bigger needs, because the price tag really does make a difference. If you have somebody who's like, I can't pay you $15 an hour, that's much different than somebody who's like, I don't know if I can pay $100 an hour. They have completely different mindsets and stuff too. So I think it's just time for you to apply the marketing challenge again.
I think so too.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to do it again. Just because I'm almost a year into actually kind of knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I have offers, I have packages, like I have 3 paying clients, like, so I'm way more confident in what I'm doing. I have a lot more structure and organization. So I'm interested to see how this next round is going to, how it's going to look, and how, and I'll probably compare this one from the last one. And that would be an even bigger, cool thing to share with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's possible. It's doable. It's like right there. I mean, I think about prices I used to charge 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm like, I was so excited when I got people to pay that. But compared to what I charge now, it's like I just would have been dreaming a couple years ago, you know? So I probably need to apply my own advice too and raise my prices a little bit. But I do think that these marketing strategies that we talk about, they're universal in business. Learning how to connect with people, learning how to communicate, making sure your back end is organized to receive the traffic that you get. I think that's really big too. I was talking with another client this morning, and we were talking about how social media, if you give people what they want, they're going to flock to you. And I had this happen over the last, what's today? Today is the 30th when we're doing this. And on the 28th, I had over 45 people pay me money who did not even know me from me posting an image in comments on a post that I made. And I just was like, this is so crazy. But then I went back to it and I was like, why am I surprised? Because I've just been implementing this marketing that I'm using over and over and over again. But you know what I did? I took it to a new place. I took it to a new group. I took it to a new community. And it's going to be really exciting for me to meet all of these people in person because they exist, but now it's like real. So anybody who is wanting to make more money or increasing their ability to market, I think has to do this challenge. I've seen it time and time again. Jenika, you've seen it, and you're going to do it again. I think that's really exciting. And last thing, tell the listeners or viewers, what's a loving kick in the pants that you received from me that either was like hard to do, or you're like, man, I should have done that a long time ago, or what kind of sticks out to you in terms of our time together?
I think one of the hardest challenges you gave to me was when I had a sales call scheduled, and you said to go into that sales call and tell them I was $100 an hour. Yeah. It was so hard. I I did it. I kind of threw you under the bus to kind of like make me feel better about doing it. So I was like, she told me to do it, so I'm just gonna do it, kind of thing. But yeah, it definitely shows that I still have perceptions around money. But I think, like what you said, changing on my website and just kind of seeing what happens will help me with that.
Yeah.
So, and it's also fun to see or fun to hear those things because I have a friend who is also doing like her own virtual assistance business, and she started doing it a couple years ago. And so when I was thinking about doing it and starting it, I messaged her and I was like, hey, and kind of just wanting to get some, tips or directions or things like that. And I was asking her, I was like, how much do you charge? And she was telling me what she charges, and I was playing around with like calculations and things like that. And I was like, hey, if I charge $50 an hour, I can literally work half the time and make the same amount of money. And she said, like, that would be awesome, but good luck finding someone who's going to pay you $50 an hour.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. And I know that her perception of money is in a different place than me, but it's fun to see that like it's right there and I can just have it.
And how it's changing too. your perception is changing based on your experience. And I will say that when you implement this marketing again, you're going to be more aware of the value that you provide for people, especially having clients under your belt too. And it is kind of funny too, because when we talk about price per hour, when people ask me my price per hour, I'm like, I will not tell you because you would never pay my price per hour. But if I present an offer to you based on how I'm going to help you, what results we're going to do, that makes a lot more sense. So there is one person who asked me price per hour, and I said, I'll give you 90 minutes of my time. That's it for this price. And she's like, okay, let me pray about it. And then she paid it. And I was like, okay, if she's aligned, that's all I need to know. And all I had to do was present a price that made me feel good about what I'm doing. And it all worked. And then you look back in it, it's like, how did she get to the point of paying me that money? It's because of the marketing that I implemented in another place. And so it will always work. So marketing that makes money in 5 days, it really is a repeatable process over and over and over again. So I'm excited for you to do it again because, I want to hear. And you definitely need to update your website because I have sent people to your website.
Great. I'll update it today. How about that?
You definitely should. Okay, one last thing. If you could tell the viewers, like, to get out of their own way, or if you could deliver a loving kick in the pants to them, what would it be?
Yeah, I would say that their mindset is their biggest obstacle. There's a book I read a little while ago. It's called The Mountain Is You. It's a really good one about perceptions and beliefs, or like belief systems. And like that, if you feel like you're getting in your own way because your mindset is preventing you, then I challenge you to read that book and challenge you to get out of your own way. And I need to take that challenge for myself as well, because I think there's some things I'm really good at getting out of my own way. And then there's other things where I'm still kind of in my own way. So,
yeah. Well, you've done a good job of staying connected too, because that's another thing that is important, is staying connected to the things that have been helping you and creating growth. You know, you could hang out with me that says charge $100 an hour, or you could hang out with the person who's like, good luck. It's like, it's a good thing I don't know who that is. Or else I'd be like, what did you say to my girl, Jenika? No. So, all right. Well, thank you for being on here. And thanks for being an awesome friend and client. And I'm excited to see more of your growth. And I cannot wait to celebrate with you when you officially quit your job. I think that's going to be really exciting. So,
yes.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week for another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. Thanks for tuning in, friend. If this episode gave you value, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone in your circle who's ready to wake up, show up, and grow their business without sacrificing what matters most. When you do, you're not just helping them, you're building your network of like-minded leaders. And I'll say this plainly, leaving a kind review matters more than you know. It helps more people find the show and it keeps the momentum going. So pause for a moment and please drop that review. Lastly, if there's a topic you want me to cover, I want to hear from you. Reach out, because this podcast is for you and I'm here to serve. Until next time, stay boss-minded.